Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, the 11th of July, National Cheer Up the Lonely Day, National Rainier Cherry Day, National Blueberry Muffin Day, National All-American Pet Photo Day, National Mojito Day. I actually tried one of those. That wasn't too bad.
Oh, they're okay.
Not my
They're
cup
a little
of tea.
sweet for me.
It's also the 11th day of the 7th month, so it is 7-Eleven Day.
Ah.
And the 12th of July, Sunday, is National Simplicity Day, National Different Colored Eyes Day. I know some people with different colored eyes.
too. It's
I always
really
thought that was
cool.
really cool. And I was telling one guy, I was like, I think it's so cool. He's like, I hate it. He said, I hate it. I hate that I have that. I'm like,
sure.
that makes you special in a good way. National Pecan Pie Day, Paper Bag Day, and Eat Your Jell-O Day. All of these things happening this weekend. And I want to remind you, I've got a guest coming up. I've got Simone Davis joining me. She's got a book called The Montessori Toddler, and I'm excited to learn a little more about that. It's all coming your way on the John and Heidi Show Weekend Edition. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Bloomberg survey found that 76% of Russian voters support a referendum that would allow Vladimir Putin to remain president for another 16 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they went to the polls and they, here's the ballot. How would you like to vote?
What percentage of
76%.
Boy,
Think about the 24% that
said
said no. I mean, knowing that that's probably a dangerous answer. So, I don't know. I got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. About 300 teens were exposed to coronavirus during a pong fest, like beer pong.
Sure.
Several of them were awaiting test results, some of them having found to be infected. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram reported the high school students attended this party on June the 20th. A number of them had not yet received their test results. Later, they found out, oh, hey, I tested positive. So this mass gathering could lead to more cases, and it's a state that is already hit with record-breaking hospitalizations. Unfortunately, our caseload is probably going to increase, they said. It is because a very large party that was attended past Saturday. Here's the thing I question. It's teenagers at a beer pong party? Anybody else notice that that's probably not supposed to be happening?
Well,
everybody that has attended the event was told to self-quarantine for 14 days. Anybody that has come in contact with the people who went to that party as well. But
so you didn't go to beer parties when you were
Heidi, I would have never. I was way too busy helping out around the church.
Yeah, you were.
Okay, maybe not. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Aquaman, Jason Momoa. Am I saying that right?
I don't know.
I think they're Momoa.
I'm not
I think
a huge fan.
Well, you've not even seen the movie. How would you know?
I'm not a fan of his.
What do you mean? What do you not like about him? I think he seems like a pretty cool guy. Okay. He's in negotiations to play Frosty the Snowman in a live-action CG hybrid movie. The script will be co-written by a couple of guys who wrote a little movie called Elf with Will Ferrell. So they're working on a new Frosty the Snowman. And speaking of big screens, because it's big screen, little screen, Walmart is working on turning 160 of their store parking lots into drive-in theaters for an event later this summer. That's kind of an interesting idea. So we talked about this once already, didn't we?
Well, you did. I wouldn't say we. I kind of rolled my eyes and looked the other way.
Just like you're doing today. She's not a fan of that either. Imagine that. Heidi's not a fan of something. No way. Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen on the John and Heidi Show.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Time now for your scoop of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of theinsurancechicken.com. New York City Sheriff's Office busted a group of people on Staten Island. They were hauling some illegal fireworks and an alligator.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll get you in the news. 10 people were arrested. They were hauling illegal fireworks and 3 alligators. So I'm not really sure what the plan was there, but that doesn't sound like my kind of party. I'm just going to say it. Want to live longer? They say walk faster. Researchers in the United Kingdom collected data from nearly 475,000 people, measuring a lot of different factors, like their walking habits, their body mass, their waist circumference, their body fat percentage. People who reported a brisk walk pace live longer across all body types. Those who reported a slower walking pace had a shorter life expectancy. So if you mosey through life thinking I'm going to go slower,
our son is going to live forever.
Oh yeah, but if you mosey through life thinking, hey, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the scenes, I'm going to be here longer because I'm going slow. That's kind of the wrong way to look at it. They're saying, get somewhere, get out there and walk. I think it probably increases your heart rate or something. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure why. The number of farmers now using drones, at least weekly, has surpassed the 90 percentile number. So
just check on their crops?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe they're feeding the cattle that way. Probably not.
Probably not.
Hook a bucket of feed.
That would be cool.
It would be really cool. But no, I'm assuming it's probably to check on things, to go out and make sure everything's okay. And that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's practical use for them.
Absolutely. Illinois is one of the few states coming out of the COVID-19 in a pretty good position right now. They say the state locked down in late March. Governor told residents to wear masks despite Illinois' better than average situation. Some residents are not happy, and they're planning for, are you ready for it? A million unmasked march, July the 25th. So they're going to have a march against masks in Illinois. They're trying to get 1 million people to march with them. So July 25th, we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. A Nebraska farmer was draining a pond on his property, trying to do some maintenance.
Okay.
And he made a very unusual discovery. What do you suppose he found in Nebraska in his pond?
Gold.
No. Win Hall, farmer, Nebraska, started draining the pond. He thought maybe it was like a household appliance. Turned out to be an ATM. So
really,
yeah,
in his
somebody
pond?
Probably did a little crash and dash, and they stole the money out of it, and they dumped it in his pond.
Wow!
So there you go. Several bars in Orlando, Florida, voluntarily closed after a spike of COVID cases popped up there. New York Times Square, McDonald's is closing their doors forever after 17 years. So I've walked by that. I've never eaten there.
Really? That surprises me.
Yeah. But here's, I think, why. Probably the same reason that I didn't eat there. As I was looking, I'm like, we go do this. I'm like, we got a McDonald's at home. I'm not going to do that. So I can understand why New York Times, like down in the big Times Square, where people would say, I could eat that anywhere. Why eat that here? I'm going to eat something I don't have at home. Huh. I don't know. I could be wrong.
But I would assume price-wise, for people who are on a budget, that it would be nice to have something like that in that area.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Heck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Our guest today is Simone Davis, and Simone has a new book called The Montessori Toddler, A Parent's Guide to Raising a Curious and Responsible Human Being. Simone, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me, John.
Well, I'm excited to visit about this because I know there are probably some people who have heard of Montessori, but they maybe don't know what that is. And I'll even admit, our son went to a Montessori school for a short while, and I don't know that I even know for sure what it all means. So let's talk about what that word Montessori means, and then we'll chat more about the book. So what does that mean, Montessori?
Yeah, exactly. So Montessori is an alternative education system, I guess you'd say. Everyone knows the traditional system where the teacher stands at the front, decides what everyone needs to learn today, and gives a lesson, and the children sit quite passively. They're trying to make it more proactive, making groups maybe, but it's definitely the teacher who decides what they need to work on. And it's different in the Montessori classroom where it's actually each individual child working at their own pace on the materials that are available in the classroom. It's a really rich curriculum. And that sounds like chaos, but you have mixed age groups, say 3 to 6-year-olds together, and 6 to 9-year-olds, and 9 to 12-year-olds. So you have older children who can help younger children, and the teacher gives each child a lesson where they're up to, and sometimes this is in small groups as well. So they have very hands-on lessons, and the children are very motivated to learn because they get to learn the things that they want to learn today, and they still make it through all of the things they need to learn.
Now, when our son was in that school, it was an elementary school that he had gone to, and he excelled because he was able to work kind of at his own pace. But again, this isn't something that's available everywhere. But one of the things that's nice, you've got a new book out, the Montessori Toddler, and this is kind of a way to take that concept and bring it right home, isn't it?
Exactly, because it's not accessible to everyone, or your child might be in a Montessori school, but it's also lovely if you can then support them in a Montessori way at home. So if you can't afford a school or there's not one nearby, then you can use the same principles, but in your home. So
now let's talk about your background and how we got to here, where we put out this book. What were you doing before this?
Well, actually, I used to work in the corporate sector, and then I had children. My son's now 19 and my daughter's 18, so it was already a while ago when I moved into Montessori education, but I was looking for a school for them and came across a Montessori preschool. I thought, wow, this is beautiful. The teachers were so kind with how they spoke to us and the children. The materials and the environment was so warm and inviting, and the children, just got to choose what they want to work on. I thought this is an ideal learning environment for them. And before I knew it, I was also training as a Montessori teacher. I moved to Amsterdam and I started my own parent-child classes here over 11 years ago.
That is fantastic. Now, where are you in the world right now?
I'm based here in Amsterdam. I'm originally from Australia.
I love the accent. I think that's fantastic. So with this Montessori type of school, do they have these all over the world then?
Exactly. I think they're on every continent, definitely. Maybe not in every country, but it's really becoming more popular again, as well as parents are quite unhappy with, I guess, the traditional education system and how it's failing our children. Because basically in the 21st century, we need children. We're preparing them for a future we don't even know what it is. So they need really skills of creativity, problem solving, working with others, having resilience, resourcefulness, being able to look things up, find out problems, and our traditional education system is just not meeting those needs.
Well, I love some of the things I'm reading here about the reviews of your book. One says it's a life-changing guide that transforms the way parents see toddlers. I like that. That's pretty darn cool. And there's others. It's all very high praise. So a lot of people who know this kind of thing are saying that you did a good job. So that's got to feel really good.
It does. I think also because I work with toddlers, which are very young children, mostly between, say, the age of 1-year-old to 3.5. And these children are usually considered quite difficult. They throw tantrums. You don't understand what's going on. They're just giving us a hard time all the time. And in a Montessori approach, we see each child as individual. When something doesn't go their way, they're expressing a need, and we're really learning to see the world through their eyes. And they can actually also teach us a lot. They're, I think, wonderful human beings to be around because they really wear their heart on their sleeve. They tell you exactly what they want to say. For example, that man has no hair, but also they're just very honest with how they see the world. And if you're walking down the street, they'll stop and find every blade of grass popping up through the pavers and think it's the most wonderful thing in the world, because for them it's the first time they've probably seen this, and so it's really lovely to hang out with them and to be able to see the world through their eyes as well.
Absolutely. The book is called The Montessori Toddler, A Parent's Guide to Raising a Curious and Responsible Human Being. Our guest today, Simone Davis, is the author of that book. Where can we find a copy of this for folks that are intrigued and want to go and read it right now?
Well, it's available in all online bookstores. Even better to order it through your local bookstore. That's also possible.
I will throw a link to that in our show notes. Simone, thank you so much for doing what you're doing. I think this is a really neat mission.
Thank you so much, John. It was a pleasure talking to you. Have a great day.
Again, Simone Davis. The book is called The Montessori Toddler, A Parent's Guide to Raising a Curious and Responsible Human Being. I've got a link to the book in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Walmart has a lower acceptance rate than Harvard. Yeah, Harvard might be hard to get into with a 4.5% admittance rate, but try this one on for size, 2.6%. Yeah, only 2.6% of the people who apply at Walmart are accepted to join the crew. Says, we realize this comparison isn't flawless, but you have to admit, it is kind of a fun fact. Don't you think?
Sure.
I think so. I had to wake Heidi up just now. I think she dozed off.
I am sleepy today.
Yeah, you do look sleepy. Coming up here in a bit, we've got some more fun stuff to get to. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline, Germany. A guy in Germany stole a bicycle and tossed it through a restaurant window. Then went inside the restaurant, drank a half a bottle of hot sauce. Half a bottle. He told police he did it because he was thirsty.
Wow.
Hot sauce. Really?
Okay.
I just thought it was because you were crazy. Whatever. That is today's news headline from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Time now for some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. This could actually be just about anywhere, but it happened to be a man captured on video being removed from a Florida-bound flight at LaGuardia for not wearing a mask. Now, we've seen several stories like this, but this was a tense standoff. It unfolded when a man whose name is not in the story took off his mask and refused to put it back on. So he wore a mask to get on the plane, but then he's like, I'm not putting it back on. Spirit Airlines spokesperson said there's video from inside the plane shows an exchange between Port Authority police and the man in which the officer asked the passenger to get off the plane, and the man argues with him, I don't want to force you, I'm asking you, the cop said. Anyway, turned into quite the scuffle. Police spokesperson for the airline said the man eventually agreed to deplane on his own instead of risking legal consequences. So put the mask back on. I mean, what's so hard about that? I don't know. That's why I landed right here. It's weird news, and it's brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Police are searching for an arson suspect in Northeast Philadelphia who accidentally set himself on fire.
Oh, boy.
They say they've got some surveillance video that shows the incident from Tuesday, the 19th of June, about 12:42 in the a.m. Video shows a male suspect pouring a flammable liquid into the bushes next to a house. Then he ignites the fire, and then he catches himself on fire. He runs off. He's seen rolling around on the ground. Police say the suspect got away in a car, was last seen heading east on Knights Road. Anyone with info should call the Northeast Detective Division. I've got a link to the info in the show notes. That's a bad idea.
You think so?
He apparently did a poor job of planning, because he tried to catch that building on fire, whatever he was trying to burn up, and he caught himself on fire. So, there you go. That's why it's today's.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah, no kidding. That's why it is today's moment of duh.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, tell me, fake news or Florida? A Florida man was seen power washing the roof of his home while he was dressed as Spider-Man. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
Yeah.
I could see that. I would do that.
It's a true story. Honestly, if I had the outfit and looked good in it, I would wear it everywhere.
Right?
I remember actually driving down the road and seeing somebody wearing like a full-on Batman suit. And I was driving and I looked, and then I looked forward again and I did like a double take. I'm like, did I just
we have a
see
dinosaur
Batman
costume that we wear from time to time.
Yeah, we don't do that. We should do that more often.
We should do that more often.
Hey, maybe we'd make the news. Probably not. Maybe we don't want to. This has been Fake News or Florida.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news. I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Here's a headline. Gorilla at New Orleans Zoo expecting her first baby. Oh, yeah. The zoo is celebrating the good news that one of their critically endangered gorillas is expecting her first child. 13-year-old Tumani, who came to the Audubon Zoo from Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in 2017, is a critically endangered western lowland gorilla. The pregnancy is the result of successful breeding between Tumani and Okapra. I hope I got these names right. 26-year-old silverback gorilla who came from Audubon from Franklin Park Zoo in 2017. The pregnancy is a huge deal. We want to share that news with the public. It seems to be going well, said Dr. Robert McLean, the Audubon Zoo chief veterinarian. They got a little bit of video here of, I don't know, I'm assuming it's her. It's the mama gorilla walking around. Zoo wants the process to be as natural as possible. The mother's caring for the baby full time and minimum human intervention. So
that's really cool.
Think they're going to do Lamaze?
Probably not.
Okay, I don't know how that works. It says we don't want the baby to be by itself. We want the baby to be with mother at all times. If the baby's on the ground, we want to be able to say, hey, pick it up. Due date is somewhere in mid-July and all the way up to like August 20th. Because of poaching and disease, western lowland gorilla numbers have declined by more than 60% over the last 25 years. They are considered critically endangered, so that's not good. So it's the good news that there's a baby gorilla coming to help repopulate that number. So I've got a link to that story in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.